Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 6 of What If Naruto Was Put Through Hell and Adopted by the Raikage. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a Legendary Neglected Uzumaki over on Anime King. And stay tuned for a new episode over Anime King 3. And yes, if you're new, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day, each and every one of them, for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say guys? Go ahead and click that red subscribe button and join the Anime King family. Comment down below and I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Naruto was still at Konoha. He wasn't brainwashed by Konoha or Kumo as they had constantly checked him and asked him a lot of questions. They were forbidden to go into his mind because of the pact that they signed with Kumo. The Raikage had been literally furious, as Yujito hasn't been getting any letter from Naruto, even though she wrote them to him, 9 of them to be exact already. So B and the others told her what happened, as she found out that Kushina was Naruto's mother, so it all makes sense now why the woman knew his name, and why she had that look of longing in her eyes when she saw and called Naruto by his name. We then went into a flashback as the Raikage wanted to pummel Minato, but after some time they came to an agreement, 5 years. If Naruto enjoyed Konoha and he wanted to stay, he will stay. If he wished to return back to Kumo, he would return back to Kumo. Back at the village, as Naruto refused to ask the Hokage for any money at all as he went to school, he downright object everything that Iruka said, given the fact that Iruka was making some statements about Kumo and they were all wrong, as Iruka just tried to reason with the boy as he heard that he has been through a lot. Kakashi was there as he was keeping an eye out on Naruto the entire time, as Naruto had literally held back from hurting the other attending students. Kiba was royally pissed as he was just another Sasuke, someone who thought that they were better than everyone else and rather arrogant as well, as Iruka had thought that the boy had literally held back so he wouldn't hurt Kiba. As with that, Kakashi had praised Naruto's skills and not taking effort for them. Something just seemed to click in Naruto, as he really appreciated Kakashi for doing that, as he shared a fist bump with him, calling him his bro. Kakashi didn't see anything wrong with this, as he rather preferred it. The both of them made their way as Kakashi decided to duel the test with Naruto. If he could hold that kunai and don't make him take it from him in the next 5 minutes, he would get permission for him to go in the forest of death. So Naruto ended up stabbing himself in the gut with the kunai, as he sparkled electricity around him despite the stabbing in his gut making it more intense. He held on to the kunai for the 5 minutes. Even when he was close to pass out, he forced himself not to, as Kakashi was shocked by his determination and sheer will to hold on to that kunai. As when the time was up, he brought Naruto back home, the wound already long closed because of the fox. He had went to give his report to Minato, as they came up with an agreement. They should just not push him, as Kushina really hated that because she just wanted to be there with him, but he needed time. She and Katsumi should just give him time to make him find his own way here, as they agreed that they will do that, even though she was terribly sad, and everything Minato said to her, she just looked at him with a glare. After all, she was still thinking whether or not a divorce was in the works. After what he did, she just couldn't find in herself to forgive the man from the past. And by the way, Naruto hasn't forgiven him, and she had made him a deal. If Naruto forgave him, then she could think about forgiving him. And Naruto outright hated Minato. He did not hate Katsumi or Kushina, but the hate from Minato was just reflecting on them as well, because Katsumi tried her best to talk to him, but he would not talk to her at all. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So this is the beginning of this new episode. Naruto slowly opened his eyes, staring at the mess of a room that he was currently in at the moment. He was on a pale purple sofa. The floor was wooden and creaky. There was two open windows on one of the walls in the room. There was a small library set of orange covered books which resembled the Ichi Ichi series. There was a bed over to the side. There was a small kitchen in the corner. The door that gave to the rest of the apartment, as he was under a rough wool sheet. He was currently covered in dry blood and his weights were not in sight. As he sighed, he still had in his hand the kunai. As he smiled at that, he looked as he saw another pile of clothes. These ones, a darker shade of grey and a darker shade of blue. He was used to finding clothes like these, waiting for him after all as he dressed up with the dark grey shirt and the dark blue shorts. For he looked towards the piece of note written by Kakashi, gone asking, food in the fridge, do not empty it. Wait there, read something to pass the time. As Naruto raised the eyebrow, he looked towards all of the books. All of them are mostly Ichi Ichi series, but except for one, The Tale of Augustin Ninja, written by Jiraiya. Perhaps it was porn as well. As Naruto opened the fridge as he saw an apple, a nearly expired apple. He didn't know that apples could expire. As he picked it up, he could have gone for the salt ramen instead, but nah. As he started to eat the apple, he picked up the book and started to read it. Surprisingly, it was about a young man named Naruto who tried to find peace in the world. It made Naruto think about back at Kumo, a young man on his own in his journey, and not to mention a person was named like him as well. It was 2 years until he could see them again. Why not sooner? Why couldn't he go there? Why hasn't he received any letters or anything? Why was he being left alone? The words of the Hokage hit him like rocks once again. Seems like your father was simply using you. He shook his head, trying not to make the tears roll down his cheek. He thought that he would be fine once he considered this like a mission from Kumo. But he would just be staying here for the time being. It was a mission to see how Konoha ninjas work. That is what his mind came up with. But what if it was all just a charade? What if he was nothing more than a tool? A tool to be stolen and taken back. A tool with no thoughts, a tool with no ideas. So, crying, are we? The Kyuubi spoke slowly to him. Why am I feeling hurt so much? He had no one to ask the Kyuubi. It's a pathetic thing you humans call love. It eventually leads towards betrayal and scorn, hatred and anger, until fury. And then fury turned into revenge. Sweet, succulent revenge. So, I'm hurt because I love? Naruto didn't know if the beast was right, but he knew that hate was not the solution. The waterfall of truth had showed him that much. Although he had ended up more battered and bruised than before, he shivered as he remembered his other self. His eyes were completely dead, emotionless. He was nothing more than a tool, nothing more than Konoha's personal secret weapon. He was just a lapdog, and when the hands of Konoha pointed at the enemies, he was supposed to go out there and bite. He had sworn that he would never become that. But now, as the Kyuubi words clashed against his own beliefs, he started to shake a bit. Kill one you do not love, you feel nothing. Kill one that you love, you feel remorse. If you are betrayed by one you do not know, nothing is lost. Betrayed by one that you love, your soul will be torn into cinders. Your heart is in pieces, you know, deep down. You know the truth, Naruto. You know that no one can come to your aid in 2 years. They will ignore you. Perhaps they will outright scorn you, hate you even because you are too weak to do anything. No one loves you and I can barely stand your presence. Face the truth. Everyone's gonna betray you. No, that's not true, said Naruto. Kakashi spoke nicely about my friends, and he's helping me prank the Hokage as well. Then there's Mike Guy and Rock Lee, and there's also Shino as well. Tomorrow, I'll meet him at school. I'll meet him once again. He's my friend. They will all betray you, and when that time comes, Naruto, you'll have nowhere to turn except for me, and I will not help you without a price. Then I'll do it without your help, said Naruto. The fox went silent as Naruto simply started to read back the book. Found something you liked as a voice startled Naruto a bit as he turned to see Kakashi, as he was so in-depth in the book. This is the only thing I like, said Naruto. There are plenty of books around here, Naruto, Kakashi said, as he pointed towards the library, and the plenty of books were these Ichi Ichi series. Big Sister Yujito said that porn dried the soul of man. I never understand what she meant. Kakashi coughed as he decided to change the subject. I went to speak with the Hokage. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, waiting. And yes, he gave permission for you to train in there. But I have to be with you always. Yes! Naruto jumped with excitement before he paused. He then looked towards Kakashi with a rather embarrassed face. Sorry, he said. Kakashi raised the eyebrow and perplexed. What did he have to be sorry for now? You have to waste your time with me. I know you don't hate me and we're brothers, but I'm sorry for taking away your free time. Kakashi was never one to think about having kids for all of his life. But this kid in front of him, who was just so innocent, who deserved a lot better. Naruto, you're probably the only kid I can withstand being around for more than 5 minutes. So never ever say sorry again to me. Especially. Got it? Naruto looked at him a bit surprised, but he nodded as he understood. Kakashi then moved towards the door. That turned out to be a storage room. As Naruto was confused, then, where's the door to the apartment? He came back with a beige pouch. Here, I give for lasting more than any other as my student. I hand over to you my very first kunai pouch. There should be some kunas and a couple of shurikens inside. So, it's all yours. But be ready though, since we're going to the forest of death. You might go through them sooner than expected. As Naruto nodded as he put on his belt. Kakashi heard Naruto's stomach grumble. However, first order of business is to get something to eat. So how about we head over to Ichiraku Ramen and mark everything under Anvu expenses? Are you sure you won't get in trouble, Naruto asks. Don't worry, said Kakashi as you're off Naruto here. I'm sure they won't even notice. With that, Kakashi jumped out of the window as Naruto jumped out as well, following him until they arrived. Until Naruto paused as he saw the red-haired woman at Ichiraku Ramen eating. Naruto-kun, said Kakashi, you should be correcting homework right now for the students of the academy. Why is she here? Kakashi blinked in surprise. The boy had good skills at gathering information. I don't know. Maybe she finished earlier or gave no homework. Anyway, it's food. You need food right now, come on. As Naruto sat on the other side of Kakashi, so Kakashi was in the center despite them being a bit distance away from Kushina. Kushina bit hard on the chopsticks. As her son, the son that she barely get to hold in her arms, was avoiding her. And she couldn't make a big scene because no one was supposed to know. She couldn't grab him and ask him why he hated her. She had saved him from the kidnappers. Why wouldn't he understand that? Why was he so keen on saying that Raikage was his father, and not even think of her as a mother? To her, the answer was clear: he was young, and he grew to start to trust his kidnappers. But why was he refuting the idea so badly that the Kumo ninjas were the bad guys in this? Every time he spoke about his big sister, she cringed inside, thinking about that blonde bitch, who nearly made Naruto forget all about Konoha. But she couldn't fault her, right? Because Konoha has been nothing but misery and hate for Naruto for his first years of his life. He had been treated like a beast, if you could go by Inuichi and Ibiki's report, but they barely got enough. But from the way he referred to himself as, they know. Because he could not enter his mind because that would break the alliance that they had with Kumo. She just wanted to be there for him when he cried. She wanted to be there for him when he laughed, and she wanted to laugh with him as well. Was that asking too much? And when birthdays came, she wanted to give him his gift. She then realized something, what a fool she was. She did not give him back his pocket knife. She had promised him, and yet she did not complete her end of the bargain. She swiftly ate her ramen as she paid Toki as she dashed off quickly. Thank Kame, said Naruto, as he saw she went off, without trying to start a conversation with him. I have to ask, why do you hate the Hokage and can't stand his wife? Isn't she your aunt, said Kakashi. Kakashi had no idea, as Naruto saw that, and he wasn't supposed to say anything about it, as he didn't want Kakashi to get into trouble for knowing things that he should not know. She was the one that kidnapped me, and while she wounded me here, he said, as he touched his stomach with her chakra chains. The Hokage wounded big sister Yujito, and that I cannot forgive. So you hate him more for what he did to your big sister than what he did to you, said Kakashi, as Naruto finished his third bowl by then. Kakashi was also eating his ramen, but his mask was still up, a feat that he could perform with a slight genjutsu. But he then turned his gaze to Ayam and Toki, as Ayam was blushing and her eyes were sparkling, as Toki was surprised. He realized that it wasn't covering the front, as they saw his face. Except, said Naruto, breaking his thoughts, the Hokage also chained me to a leash, and he's doing all that he can to prevent me from leaving. Point taken, but Naruto turned towards Kakashi. He didn't take me back, he kidnapped me. I'm in a prison, not a village. There are jailers everywhere. Tell me, why not just send me back to Root and train me as a mindless weapon? Kakashi sighed as he ran a hand through his hair. Well, firstly, Root was disbanded. Secondly, this can be a village or a prison, but that depends on you. And thirdly, I'm not one of the jailers, I hope, said Kakashi, with a small chuckle, as Naruto simply sighed. It's getting late now. Tomorrow, front gate of Konoha. Don't be late. As Kakashi got up to leave, Naruto stopped him. But I got school tomorrow, he said. Oh, tomorrow is Sunday, Naruto-kun. There's no schools on Sunday in Konoha. He will teach a boy tomorrow in the Forest of Death, Dojutsu. And he was also gonna get to meet with Uncle. Might as well ask her what poison she wants beforehand. And with that, Kakashi made his way off. The boy then stood up as well, as he waved goodbye to Toki and Ayam, as he hated the place that he refused to call home, but he called it his resting place, as he slowly made his way home in the darkness. Suddenly, something pushed him. Something that dashed from the shadows and pushed him into an alleyway. It pressed down on him. It was a lion. As the thing stopped him from saying anything. We meet tonight, dickless monster gun. As a boy was standing there, he pulled out a brush and a small seal. It will just take a moment. It won't hurt, I suppose. Lightning release, said Naruto, as he tore right through the lion, as ink sprayed everywhere. The boy finished his drawing as another lion jumped out towards Naruto. Naruto ran as he jumped on the wall before he flipped and pushed himself towards the lion. Lightning release, Hibashi, as Naruto lightning attack burst the lion in pieces as the ink rained down. The boy had to leap away as the attack struck where he once was. As the boy landed inside of a roof, Monster Gun, be good and come with me. As the boy started writing his seal once again, as he leaped towards the other roof, dropping out of Naruto's view. As Naruto looked over, something pierced him in his shoulder as he gasped in pain as it was an ink lance right in his shoulder muscle. The ink I use is poison. Sweet dreams, Monster Gun. As Naruto felt something jolt his system, the next thing he knew, he stood in front of the bars. You know, like Ayuba said, I thought I told you I would let you pay the price for your stupidity. This is nothing, said Naruto as the water levels start to rise. I can survive this. No. I can survive this. You are going to be taken and receiving brainwashing, torture by root. So much for it to be disbanded. As the water rose up towards Naruto's neck. What are you talking about? And what are you doing, said Naruto? As the water reached his mouth, he closed it. What I should have done years ago. Force you to change. As Naruto started to drift towards the Kyuubi's cage even more, he fell unconscious. But before he could, as a fox paw, his claws started to reach out. Chains grab onto Naruto and yank him back to the other side. The Kyuubi growled as he turned his head to see what was happening outside, as the boy was regaining his consciousness. Meanwhile, as Naruto woke up, he saw her right here as Kushina was there. She was looking towards the Anvo kid, who had dashed off leaving behind two ink lion. Naruto-kun, I'm sorry I'm being selfish. Why was she talking like that? He thought to himself. Oh, her face was turned the other way. She thought that he was still knocked out. She kept on speaking. He closed his eyes and pretended to be still knocked out. But no matter how selfish I'm gonna be, you're my son. Never, ever again will I lose you, she said, as her chains tore right through the ink iron. He then felt something soft pressed to his forehead. It was a light kiss. Oh, I actually remember. I know sometime I can be at your head. Better late than never, she said, as she put something into his pocket. As it took a moment for him to recollect what it could be. As she picked him up. Well, time to go to bed, Naruto-kun, she said, as she dashed towards his apartment, knowing that he would freak out if he woke up in Namikaze mansion. As she reached the door, she slowly opened it, as her eyes turned murderous to what the place had become once again. It didn't matter what the Hokage ordered or what he said. People do as they please, knowing full well they would get away with it. They could throw him out, and no one would side with the boy. If a patrol ever came by, they simply tripled the price for him. And there was nothing the Anvu patrol could do but triple the price for him. And he didn't want that. He just wanted to be independent. Not like Hatsumi, who whined on Saturday that they should all go out shopping just so she could use her parents' money and not her own. She was a good kid, but a bit spoiled. Nevertheless, on the other hand, Naruto, her son, has decided to stand on his own 2 feet, doing dangerous jobs for a small amount of money and a tiny bit of freedom. But she could not leave him here, so where could she bring him? Kushina-san, as she turned. Kakashi was standing there with a perplexed gaze. Is everything alright with Naruto? It seems that no matter what, people will always hate him, she said. Why do they have to hate him so much? Why? What did he do wrong? He did nothing, and I can't help but curse myself to be the one to force him through all of this. Yet I can't. Leave him alone. Another ninja attempt on his life tonight, but he escaped before I could capture him. Kakashi didn't say anything, but he heard what she said clearly. Again. Did she already leave him once? He's a sweet kid. After all, he's a bro of Kakashi Hatake, #1 copycat ninja of Konoha, said Kakashi with a chuckle. I'll take care of him. My couch is comfortable enough, he says. He took Naruto slowly. Kushina nodded that inside she was being ripped apart, as she just wanted to bring him home. She just wanted to care for him. He was her son after all. Thank you, Kakashi-san, said Kushina as she made her way, her voice filled with sadness. Kakashi looked down towards Naruto as he saw a single tear ran down the boy's cheek. Time skip. Next morning, Konoha Gate. So, you promise you're gonna behave, said Kakashi, as both him and Naruto stood there at the gate. Kakashi raised his right fist, Bro, promise. I'll follow your lead. Kakashi shocked as he boom-faced Naruto. The two guards at the gate stood there shocked. Did that just really happen? Yosh! Said a voice, as two blurs were shooting towards their location, picking up smoke as they move. They stopped right in front of Naruto and Kakashi. As they came to a final stop, with a dramatic pose. Kai-sensei! Yosh, said Naruto as he took position as well. Naruto-kun, Lee-kun, Kai-sensei, Naruto-kun, Kai-san, Lee-kun, Naruto-kun, Lee-kun, Kai-sensei. As Kakashi stood there, horrified to what he saw. The environment then changed as Kakashi looked around. He lifted his headband up as he started to freak out. What kind of genjutsu is this? The three of them pointed toward the sun as the era changed into a horizon, a rushing waterfall behind them, and a bird soared in the sky, an eagle. Kakashi started to pant as he thought that he was losing his mind or something. My mighty rival, Kakashi-san. He was snapped out of his trance by Guy. You're bringing Naruto-kun here to the forest of death, said Guy. As he looked around, the place had returned back to normal. Yush, that is very useful of you. I'm sure that you're gonna teach him great things. Naruto-kun, said Guy. Yes, Guy-sensei, said Naruto. New weights for you. I'm sure that you're not even feeling your old one. As Naruto accepted them, thankfully, as he added new weights, as Kakashi saw Naruto's eyes sparkle. Mother of God, no. We're brothers, said Naruto as he held up both fists. Both Lee and Guy started to cry at a youthful thing to do. The both of them raised a fist and boom fist with Naruto. Do well on your training, Naruto-kun. Come on, Lee. Let's run a lap around Konoha 35 times. Yes, Guy-sensei, said Lee, as Guy shot off. Naruto-kun, let's get going, said Kakashi. As he made his way with Naruto, he glanced towards Naruto who was perfectly fine. Whoever that assassin was, they had put an incredible dose of poison. That poison was supposed to shut down your entire body. Just a single small dose, but yet he fought through it, and the wound did not heal immediately because the poison was that dense and powerful. But Naruto fought through it, and now he was back on his feet. He had anti-venom, a lot of it, and he had to use it even though it was not powerful enough to get rid of all the poison. But still, Naruto pretended like he was asleep the entire time, despite the fact that he should be going through excruciating pain last night, but yet he preferred to pretend like he was asleep. As Kakashi dreaded the thought of what came to his mind, the boy was allowing himself to feel hurt. Despite him acting like he is, well, comfortable in the situation, he was not even one bit, even joking around with Guy and Lee. The boy was secretly hurting on the inside, terribly so. Kakashi will have to break through his armor to try and find a way to let Naruto release and come to terms with the new situation. And he couldn't do it too soon, and he couldn't do it too late. The timing had to be just perfect for everything to work out right. They then arrived to the electric fence as Kakashi moved towards the only door entrance of the Forest of Death. The guard looked at him and just took the papers that Kakashi gave, as they had to sign a form so that they could know if they died in the Forest of Death, it wasn't anyone's fault but theirs. They entered as a metallic door shut behind them. The trees were humongous, and the place was silent, completely silent. Well, this era is safe, said Kakashi. First things off, how many hungry foul beasts is staring at us right now? As Naruto closed his eyes, he went as far as sniffing the ear, as his ear twitched when he heard the crack of a branch. 3, he said. You went by luck, didn't you, said Kakashi. Well, there's a snake over there on that tree branch, said Naruto. It looked like a trunk that had eyes, but the snake had coiled around it so perfectly, it looked like it blended with the trunk. The smell of wet fur is coming from that direction. Finally, there's a strange looking spot on that trunk. Something that is eating the trunk, by the way. It was a dark brown beetle only. It was the size of a literal dex. A beetle that wasn't supposed to be so big. Well, fine. Just remember, silence don't mean no enemies. The animals in here are rather smart. They're used to ninjas, so they won't attack unless they sense fear or see that we're unable to defend ourselves. As both of them start to hop from tree branch to tree branch, as Naruto ended up stepping on a log. That wasn't really a log, it was a plant. A man-eating plant that fired a whip and wrapped around his leg. It threw him back into a tree. Naruto leaped as the thing struck where he was. He went through hand sign as his hand electrified as he grabbed onto the tentacle. The lightning rushed down the plant as the thing was electrified. As Naruto landed, he smelled caramel. Weird smell for a dying plant. That's a sugar plant, said Kakashi. They're rather weak, he said. That substance, he said, as he pointed towards the substance that Naruto had to cut when he removed himself from the tentacle, is something that was used for torturing. It responds to the weak mind of the individual. Grab some of it, said Kakashi. He handed Naruto a glass bottle, as Naruto filled it and corked it. This is worth 500 Ryu, which means 2 miso ramen. I say we still have a long way to go though, said Kakashi, as Naruto nodded. And with that, they continued to move. You actually did this too, Naruto asked. Yeah, when I was young, I found myself a bit short on cash. And I didn't want to depend on the Hokage charity either. That's why I took on some side jobs. This was the most easy. Well, considering other things for a shinobi, but yeah. When you're a shinobi, this can be the quite easiest job. When you're a civilian though, on the other hand, you can die by just simply stepping a foot in here. As Naruto told him that he understand, he didn't pry for more details or ask him why he was short on cash back then. Having silver here was hard to gauge someone's age. Well, it wasn't white here, but it was still. Kakashi was wearing a mask, so you didn't get much from that one eye reaction. So Naruto did not know how old he was. If when he was low on cash was in the 3rd grade Shinobi War, were in need of some horn, devil poison. Those can be valued up to 2 to 3,000 Ryus per bottle. If we can subdue one of them, we would probably be set for the month. The horned devil is a water serpent, said Kakashi as he stopped, as he looked towards the water stream. Its poison is something highly intoxicated and has a lot of uses, going from interrogation to spiking drinks and many more. The problem is the serpent itself. I don't see it, said Naruto. Oh really, said Kakashi. Now look at this jutsu, he said, as he created a clone. That's just a clone, said Naruto. Both Kakashi ruffles here, but it's real. Yep, said Kakashi as Naruto was surprised. It wasn't a normal clone. Look what he can do. As clone Kakashi went down to the water and felt like he was drinking it, only for the water to rise and smash him as he poofed away. The serpent was large, like one of the large trees in the forest. Its eyes were green like an emerald. It looked around, scanning the area, before it slowly retreated back underwater. Kakashi-sensei, that thing is huge, said Naruto. Yes, and normally I wouldn't fight it. Guess what, however? What, said Naruto? You will learn how to perform a clone. Send it over toward the serpent, and let it rise in the water, and have it run away. And then you electrocute it. Or we can go around all day, taking substance from the plants if you want. Naruto shook his head. Kakashi was giving me his time, so why would he do all of that and waste the man's entire time? Let's do this. I'll master it in less than a day. Kakashi chuckled. That was a Jonin level jutsu. Forbidden jutsu, to be exact, because it split your chakra into half. So, it would probably take him a month to master it, or a couple of weeks. That is why he showed Naruto the Hornet Devil, because he knew that he would be able to get it in one day. Yes, he might be gifted, but not to the point of getting out the Shadow Clone Jutsu in just one day. 6 hours later, 6 of the clones distracted the Hornet Devil, while 12 of them electrocuted it. Then one of them grabbed the bottle and started to extract the poison from the serpent glands, while a group of 6 stood on his head, ready to electrocute it if he tried to move some more. Kakashi looked at the boy directing the options, and then back at the knocked out snake, and then back at Naruto was giving the clone the orders. Kakashi just couldn't understand. The boy actually managed Shadow Clone Jutsu in 6 hours. Time wasn't the only thing that was strange, the quantity as well. Kakashi could only make up about 10 clones. But Naruto, he just made 18, and he still did not look exhausted. Well, not from chakra exhaustion, but from just physical exhaustion. I'm done. Kakashi snapped from his thoughts as he looked towards Naruto, as all the clones brought the glasses over. As Kakashi just motioned for Naruto to bring them over to the sealing scroll, where they can seal them away. In a year, he would be the one to teach a boy, and the things that the boy could do. As Kakashi looked at Naruto here, if he dyed his hair silver, and gave him a Konoha headband, and gave him a perfect copy of his clothes, he would be a mini Kakashi, just like how Guy had his mini Guy. The only problem was, he had an attachment to Guy and Lee. So him growing up as a mini Kakashi, and doing that strange scene with Guy and Lee, he shook. Well, you should be tired by now, right, said Kakashi. As Naruto thought about the question, well, he wasn't exactly tired. He could still learn, but he just didn't want to be selfish. So he nodded at Kakashi's question. After all, he must have something to do, like go buy something for his fridge or something else. Now, there's another reason why I taught you this jutsu, Naruto, said Kakashi. As Naruto nodded, first off, all the clones can use chakra techniques, since they all possess a chakra system. This means you can fool anyone with Sharingan and Byakugan too, seeing that they're corporeal, but they do poof away in the first hit. So here's the deal, you, the real you, will be go training with my Guy and Rock Lee in the morning, because the clone cannot give over muscle mass. But you will send a clone to school, and if he disperses, you will have to send another one. Got it? Naruto nodded. In the afternoon, you will be in the forest of death with me. Naruto nodded, but Kakashi saw that something was up. What's wrong? It's just, can you do me a favor? What is it? Kakashi asks. Time skip. Later that night, as Naruto looked around in surprise. How things could change for the better, well if he knew the right people. Kakashi's apartment had given him an idea. Since most Jonins, some envoys were paranoid, they asked the wall to be built in as well, so that they would take the windows, so that it meant they were landlords who sell apartments to the masked ninjas. So when Naruto arrived with Kakashi, as Naruto was wearing a mask, the landlord accepted the payment, seeing that everything was right, and it had been signed under Kakashi's name. So on paper, Kakashi owned 2 apartments, but the other one was for Naruto. That was a favor that Naruto asked him, and Kakashi complied. As Naruto was looking up at the ceiling, that was rather nice, and an actual comfortable bed. He had his envoy mask on. It was a cheap thing that he bought at the stall, with a dog face. Kakashi also gave him silver hair dye, just in case he need more cover. Tomorrow he was going to start his routine with my guy, and then later on, he will go with Kakashi. He had to also send a clone to school. He felt happy that he had his own money stashed away where he could get it at all times. He asked Kakashi why didn't others do this, as Kakashi told him that it was only something he could do to gain money so quickly. After all, having the chakra capacity to make so many clones, and not to mention being able to subdue serpent and extract his venom, was something very hard to do. As Naruto felt proud that he was able to do this, as he was sure that Yujito and the others weren't worried about him because he was surviving in Konoha and they knew that he would be alright. You're refuting reality, said the Kyuubi. As he started to walk in his apartment that was smaller than the one the Hokage had offered him. Obviously, it was just a storage path, something akin to a attic. There was a small kitchen inside, and there was also a bathroom, and a small part for sleeping right there. As the fox was miniature just walking in his room, only he could see it though. I am not, said Naruto. They're certainly just waiting for 2 years, and then they'll come, said Naruto. Oh right. That is why the Nibi Jinchuriki is not writing to you, because she doesn't want to spoil you. She is a Nibi Jinchuriki. So what, said Naruto. Well, certain Jinchurikis get different physical or mental changes because of Uspi juice. I give you that awesome regeneration power. As long as my chakra keep flowing through your body, I can close the tap though and you get wounded like any normal, idiotic human in this world. And the Nibi, it made the Jinchuriki quite motherly, like any mother cat is. Meaning that she's somewhere right now probably crying at the loss of one of her poor little kittens. And if she ever thought that you were suffering here, she would probably die of a heart attack. You're lying, said Naruto. Keep refusing me over and over. But you will come to see that I'm your only friend, Naruto-kun. There is no one else that loves you. Admit it already. Even Kakashi-san just see you as a peculiar, alter ego of himself. And he's only doing it because the Hokage ordered him to do so. That's not true, said Naruto. He's a ninja, a master of deceit. Don't tell me that he actually fooled you. Do you know where he is right now? Bet he probably told the Hokage where you have moved out to. Who will say to his wife, and his wife will say to her daughter. And her daughter will say to her friends, who will tell their parents, and then they will come here for you. And in exactly 1 month, you'll be forced to move once again. You're a liar. I'm not listening, said Naruto as he covered his ears. But it did not matter that he did because the voice was coming from the inside. And what about my guy? He's only helping you because he got the short end of the stick with that Rock Lee, who can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu to save his life. He's a broken ninja. So he's turning towards you, who probably is better than his pathetic students. But thinking about it, you're kind of pathetic as well. Shut the hell up, said Naruto. I'm the only one that you can trust, Naruto-kun. When will you realize it? If you die, I die. That is why I will keep you alive for as long as possible. No one here is your friend or bro. They're your enemies. And they hate you. They act like they don't, but they do. But if you think I'm wrong, let's make a bet, shall we? What bet? Said Naruto. Ask Kakashi if he would have still helped you out if the Hokage hadn't ordered him to do so. And also remember him that he is training you because you promised that you will keep yourself in check. He also warned you that he will kill you if you go against your word. Ask my guy if he will train you. If you had no potential, ask Kushina, your mother. If she would have been forced to make the same choice as your father, which one of them would she have chosen? Who would she have sacrificed? Come on, admit it. Heck, even the Hokage is a bastard, but at least he doesn't try to hide it from you. Why does Katsumi want you so badly to be her friend? I bet it's because her mother told her to. That is why you should trust no one but me, Naruto-kun. And maybe you'll survive long enough to see your big sister Yujito once more. By the way, you saw that. As the Kyuubi said that, he referred to what Naruto had saw in the corner of his eye. There was a shadow that has been expanding and entering from the window. He didn't care anymore if it was that masked boy Let him come. Oh no, don't get depressed on me now, the fox said. You just made me goddamn depressed, said Naruto. What should I say? That I'm on my period, the fox said. Naruto stood there shocked as he grinned before he started to laugh. As he moved, something slithered in the room where his body once been, before it went back to the person that threw it. As Naruto had no idea what the hell was that. Well, you're fast, alright, a feminine voice said. But you're a bit crazy talking to yourself. Why don't you come in the moonlight so Uncle Chan can see who harmed our poor Slipper Con? Who the hell is Slipper Con? Naruto wondered to himself. As a woman revealed herself, she was wearing a fishnet shirt. She was wearing a jacket over it. Her hair was tied up like a pineapple. It was purple. As she looked at him, you know, I'm starting to think that you don't know why I'm here, she said. Look at Naruto. In fact, he had no idea why she was here. He simply walked by her. Where are you going, she asked. To sleep, said Naruto. I'm tired. So by all means, if you want your turn on Demon Boy, I won't stop you, just don't ruin my stuff, said Naruto. Oh, so you're mad. That explains why you knocked out my Slipper Gun. The poor boy came to his mama crying, you know, and he asked me to punish the one who... Wait, Demon Boy? So you're Naruto. As Uncle looked over him, as Naruto simply nodded at the strange woman. I don't know who you're talking about, I don't know who this Slipper Gun is. And I'm just tired, so can you just leave? Slipper Gun is a horned devil, she said. That's his name. The one you nearly deep fried to death. I know him since he was just a little egg. Half the snakes in the forest are there because I brought them there. And I brought Slipper Gun there as well. I'm Uncle Chan, the snake mistress. Did no one tell you if you touch a snake in there, I'm the one that come for you, she said. Naruto shook his head. No, Kakashi-san said this is the best way to earn money, quickly. And I need to stop surviving the Hokage's charity. And I need to change apartment, said Naruto. Yeah, I came here because I thought it was Kakashi. Going over the edge. I did told him I need some hornet devil. Poison. As Slipper Gun has been strange for the winter to come. In this period, he will even try to attack me. So when I came here, I saw you. But the height was all wrong, so I was about to take you to the interrogation department. Wondering why you're here in Kakashi's apartment. As she sat down on the bed. Why are you sitting on my bed, said Naruto. Answer my question and I'll answer yours, she said. Well, if I had rented with my name, someone would come and mess it up sooner or later. So I used Kakashi, said Naruto. Well, to find out the culprit that hurt my Slipper Gun, it took me some time. I know I'm tired, that is why I'm on your bed, she said. As she yawned and fell right on the bed. What? But Slipper Gun is mine. You actually stole poison from me. And I even bought it from Kakashi. Just wait until I see him tomorrow. But seeing that you stole poison from me, I'm taking compensation by sleeping on your bed, she said. And that's final. Something bad must have happened to this woman, Naruto thought to himself. Because why would she sleep in the same bed as a demon boy? Well, given the fact that he was an 11-year-old boy, well, his birthday was right around the corner, as he thought. He shivered a bit as he remembered those nights. Monster, kill the demon. Rip into pieces. Get rid of the monster. The songs of celebration on the day when the Kyuubi fell, the 10th of October. As Naruto ended falling asleep, as he got a terrible nightmare. As he started to squirm, Anko looked over towards him, her half-sleepy gaze. Sure, she was slightly drunk, but maybe more than slightly, as she was pissed that her Slipper Gun got wounded, and sure, someone killed one of her snakes. She's sure that it wasn't his kid, and they wrote, "Snake bitch" with the blood. But no, here she was sleeping in a kid's bed. But the boy wasn't too vocal or telling her to get out. Maybe he understood. Probably he did, after all, he was Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. And she knew what some of the civilians, and shinobis as well, did to him on a daily basis, or had done to him. Well, everyone had it tough, she, because of her sincere betrayal, him because of something that wasn't his fault. She had been used, and here he was being used. As he whimpered, she realized that she took all the bed sheet. This entire time he was wearing his mask. So she took it off, as she saw his blonde hair and his blue eyes. Looking back at her, he was quite a cute kid. She smirked to herself. He was going to be in for a surprising wake up tomorrow. The next morning, Naruto woke up, as he felt something on his chest. He looked at the thing, and the thing looked back at him. It was a serpent. He didn't think it was real because he thought that he was still asleep. Would you please let me get up? To Naruto's shock and surprise, the snake nodded and moved back without harming him. As Naruto turned his head, he saw a sofa. When the hell did he get a green Naruto paused when he saw it move. As a snake, a giant green snake was looking at him. As Naruto rubbed his eyes, as he looked towards the storeroom, where there was aquariums for small snakes. Snakes were everywhere. This is better than me revealing I'm a girl, said the Kyuubi. I've gone mad, said Naruto. I'm seeing snakes everywhere. I see them too, said the Kyuubi. You're no longer with the evil tone of doom, said Naruto. There are snakes in your room. You get it? Snakes. Yeah, and, said Naruto. Not afraid? Well, I defeat the horned devil, said Naruto. So now. The Kyuubi went quiet at that as uncle jumped through his window. With a grin and a dango in her mouth. She smiled. Well, since you did rent the room for 5 months, and you did that with the money that me and the guys in the interrogation department forked up for the poison that belongs to me in the first place. Thought I was in need for a change of scenery, so I'm staying here for a couple months. You don't mind, right? Uncle smirked in her mind, the perfect prank. He was gonna freak the hell out. She'd get rid of the snakes and leave, but she just wanted to see that look of fright on his face. Fine by me. The dango stick dropped from her mouth. There are snakes in your room, she said. I told him too, said the Kyuubi. Obviously, Uncle could not hear the Kyuubi, but still the Kyuubi tried. So, said Naruto, it's snakes. No one likes snakes except for me, Uncle said. Well, they're better than half of Konoha population, said Naruto, as he looked at the snakes around the room. Uncle actually thought the same thing. Well, one rule. Bring your own bed, said Naruto. Yeah, Uncle said. As she was just standing there shocked. Well, I'm off to school, said Naruto as he picked up his mask. See you later, Uncle-san. With that, he leaped to the window. Why me, the clone said. As Naruto did not want anyone to see him exit the apartment, so once he was far enough, he removed the mask. As he looked at the clone, sorry, but you remember the rules. Fine, the clone says. He made his way towards the school. With that, the real Naruto headed off, while another Naruto headed off to get some ink and brush. And a paper as well, as he needed to write a letter back to Kumo. But what if he was really abandoned? What if they didn't want to hear anything from him? He didn't know how that would handle his sanity. But he made a promise and he would choose Kumo no matter what as he gripped the pocket knife. That all could not be a lie. They loved him there. They wanted him back. As he gripped onto the pocket knife tight in his pocket, yes, he would go back there no matter what happened here. Time skip. A bucket of water was splashed into his face as he jumped up. That was one hell of a ride, he said, as he was knocked out by the combo that Lee had did. But next time if you're gonna try that, I request permission to use a clone instead. Yosh, guy said. The flames of youth shine brightly in all of us. Taijutsu, principle of strength, is simple to pick up but difficult to master. But once you master it, no other can defeat it. You know why, Lee-kun, Naruto-kun? Yosh, Lee said. Because Taijutsu trains speed, and the fastest way to win is defeat your opponent quickly. Isn't that right? Lee couldn't finish a sentence as the guy punched him across the face, launching him across the training field. As Naruto watched with shock. What is your answer, Naruto-kun? As Naruto blinked, was he gonna get punched if he was wrong as well? Well, because hard work is better than the others, said Naruto, as he read it himself. That's right! Lee-kun, said Guy as Lee had came back to the scene. We train harder because we want to master something difficult. Everyone is able to make hand signs, but true art is learning how to master difficult moves. True art is having the flames of you burn brighter and brighter in your soul as you reach higher levels that you never thought that you could reach. Lee eyes burn with determination as Guy eyes burn as well. Now, let us all continue. As all of them start to do push-ups and then sit-ups and then jog at the same time at the other side of Konoha, the Ninja Academy. A couple kids were in the process of ganging up on the new kid in group, which had Kiba and Izaka at the front line, and one that looked like a Hyuga, while Hinata was behind a tree watching in fright. Clone Naruto sighed as he watched, his arms crossed, as Kiba had been ranting for the past 5 minutes. And stop looking at me like that, Kiba said. You're not superior to any of us, and you'll realize it after you have eaten dirt. You Kumo lover. Only a bunch of worthless trash come from Kiba stopped talking as Naruto had started cackling with lightning. You know, this voltage is enough to kill a small puppy, he said. Kiba smirked, but I'm not a... He paused, as he felt Akmar in his jacket. Good, said Naruto, you understand. And by the way, I am superior to all of you, and... He didn't get to finish the sentence because Katsumi dashed in the middle. Kiba-kun and the rest of you, leave Naruto-kun in peace, she said. You shouldn't bully him like that. As I read here flow behind her. As the clone eye was twitching, did she think he was some sort of defenseless puppy? Like the one that he was gonna fry like a chicken if she hadn't jumped in. Huh. Hiding behind a skirt. Typical of a Kumo ninja. Laughter made Kiba stop as he came from Sasuke, who stood beside Kasumi. Hey mutt boy. The Kumo boy here kicked your butt in taijutsu. So tell me, what's the point of this? Not to mention she's gonna want to help him. I know I'm here, Sasuke said. It's 9 against 3, Uchiha said Kiba. It doesn't matter, you know I'm a clone, right? All of them paused and looked towards Naruto. The real one is not here, he's training with Guy and Lee. I'm just here to attend. Yes, he said, seeing their surprised eyes. I am a Kage Bunjin, he said. What's a Kage Bunjin? Asked Katsumi. Others want to know the same thing. As Sasuke eye twitched. How could he be so stronger than him? He was the last Uchiha. Yet some boy from Kumo can do things that he could not. Not telling, just ask the boss if you ever manage to see him again, the clone said. Why would that be, Katsumi said, as she thought that she would never see the real Naruto ever again. Because he's too busy doing important things. While I have to attend school, the clone said. What important things is he doing, Kiba said. Well, currently, later on he's going to be going to the Forest of Death. Gas could be heard from everyone. Their parents told them stories about that place, as they couldn't believe it. But I can just come over to your house, said Katsumi, if I want to see the real one. Can you walk on walls or trees? Yeah, I can climb trees alright, said Katsumi. The clone sighed as he went towards the academy building, before placing one foot up, and then another, before he climbed up and flipped off. If you can do that, you can, but if you can't, there's no way you can get in my house. And besides, I won't tell you where I live. I don't trust you. Those words actually hurt Katsumi. Were they supposed to be friends? He was from our mother's same clan, right? And I don't trust you either, said Naruto as he pointed Sasuke. Nor any of them, he said as he pointed at the boys that stood with Kiba. The only one I trust is Shino, said Naruto, as he climbed up the wall and simply went inside the window of the academy. Katsumi screamed, I'm gonna learn how to walk on walls, and then I'm gonna find you and make you trust me. Believe it, she said. The clone Naruto simply rolled his eyes. Did she have to yell? As Shino stood there behind him, as he had a small smile on his lip. Are you sure that you want bugs in your house? I've got snakes already, and at least you're a friend, I view you as such. Shino said nothing. He was planning on sending his fleas, some of his flea bugs, onto Kiba. But if he did that, they would probably go to Akamaru, and they would probably spread in the Inzaka compound, and that would be bad. Yes. And he was sure that Kiba didn't bathe right after he got home, so he wouldn't watch Akamaru at the same time. So he decided not to. Wait, you got snakes? Said Shino. Yeah, snakes, the clone said. Turns out Kakashi messed with the wrong snake, and its owner came to me, and she's quite pissed. This morning I woke up, she has moved into my apartment. She? Yes, the owner of the snake's the girl, said Naruto. Understood, he said, as his mind tried to comprehend a female just living in Naruto's apartment because they messed with her snakes, and that his apartment was now full of snakes. He simply shrugged. Naruto was kind of weird. Well, it didn't matter at all, because he was kind of weird as well, and Naruto was his friend. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends, the social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out What If Naruto Was a Legendary Neglected Uzumaki over on Anime King, and enjoy that guys. And also guys, stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over on Anime King 3. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin? Well, not begin, get the hell out of here. I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace out.